Pink ball cricket and Australia dominance, they really go hand in hand, don't they? Breaking news, people, Australia have won the second test against the West Indies in Adelaide by 419 runs and have swept the two-match test series 2-0. It was never going to be in doubt because the West Indies were lacking in experience and firepower, and also the fact that their record against Australia in the last couple of decades has been woeful to say the least. So Australia have swept the series 2-0 and their path to the World Test Championship final has now been consolidated. So this is how the Adelaide pink ball test happened in a nutshell. Over the course of these 4 days, remember they have won it in 4 days, Australia, as compared to the Perth test where West Indies batted for 210 overs and they gave a good fight. Unfortunately, in Adelaide, in the pink ball and with movement on offer, bounce on offer, the West Indies were just found wanting. So how did Australia and West Indies square off in this Adelaide pink ball test? Firstly, Australia notched up 511 for 7 declared, with Marnus Labuschagne, the new number 1 ranked test batter, scoring yet another century. But it was Travis Head who stole the show with a magnificent 175. And for the second consecutive test, West Indies could not bowl out Australia in an innings. They struggled in Perth, they struggled even in Adelaide. So, Marnus Labuschagne and Travis Head's 163 and 175 ensured that Australia had a big advantage, 511. West Indies in the first innings, put up a okayish show if you have to look at the broader picture, because Tagnarayan Chandrapal, the son of Shivnarayan Chandrapal, managed 47 and he was one of the key batters in this entire chase. Anderson Phillip, one of the newcomers in the West Indies lineup, chipped in with 43. But apart from that, it was a woeful picture yet again for them. Mitchell Starc took 2 wickets, Michael Neser took 2 wickets, Nathan Lyon chipped in with 3 wickets, and Cameron Green had 1 wicket. Remember, Nathan Lyon now has the most test wickets when it comes to the pink ball format. He now has the most, along with Mitchell Starc. So these two combined ensured that West Indies were bowled out for 247. They had a big advantage of 274 runs. After that, Australia did not enforce the follow-on and they made 199 for 6. Steve Smith with 35, Travis Head yet again with 38 of 27 balls, including 2 fours and 2 sixes. Usman Khawaja made 45, David Warner 28. West Indies, only Alzari Joseph picking 3 for 22, and that is why 3 for 33, sorry. Australia gave West Indies a massive target of 400. They made 199 and so they were given a big target of 490 plus. How did West Indies fare? Well, they were absolutely woeful, and in the 4th innings they were bundled out for 77. They were blasted out for 77 with Mitchell Starc, Michael Neser yet again chipping in with 3 wickets apiece, along with Scott Boland. Remember, it was Scott Boland's triple wicket maiden towards the fag end of day 3 that totally ensured that Australia had their work very limited in the 4th and final day. Michael Neser, combined with great catching from Alex Carey, ensured that West Indies would be bowled out for 77, and Australia ended up victors by 419 runs. This is the biggest margin of victory for Australia when it comes to tests against the West Indies. West Indies' decline, unfortunately, now is very imminent in test cricket, because now, with this loss, they have not won a single test in Australia for 25 years now. 1997, Perth, that was the last time West Indies had won in Australia. Since then, they have been hammered. Final in 2001, and yet again 2-0 whitewashes, 3-0 whitewashes, except in 2016, when West Indies lost 2-0 and rain saved them in Sydney. So with these two losses in Adelaide and in Perth, West Indies now are in real trouble. But for Australia, their World Test Championship final now has really been solidified, because now they will play a total of 7 more tests after this. 3 against South Africa, which could be your preview to the final, because South Africa are also in a pretty decent position, but their position has been weakened because of their earlier loss to England. They lost 1-2 in that series, and that is a massive jolt for them. Now, if they don't win the series in Australia, their chances also take a big hit, because India are knocking on their doorsteps. India, remember, will be playing 6 tests now, 2 against Bangladesh, 4 against Australia. And so that is why South Africa will have to put up a really, really good show in this situation. So this is going to be a very interesting phase in the World Test Championship cycle. 7 tests for Australia, 6 tests for India, 5 tests for South Africa. 3 against Australia, and then in March, they'll play 2 tests against the West Indies. So these 3 teams are vying for a spot in the World Test Championship cycle final. Australia are on top currently. South Africa and India will really, really be battling it out now. And remember, South Africa have had a great record in Australia. They have not lost there since 2006. 2008, they won 2-1. They won 1-0 in 2012. They also won 2-1 in 2016. So since 2005-06, they have not lost in Australia. If the series ends 1-1, or if Australia beats South Africa, then India's chances increase a lot. India will be hoping that Australia beats South Africa, and it's a simple equation. If India win 2 tests, and if they win 2 or 3 tests against Australia at home, then India are through to the final of the World Test Championship, which will be played, by the way, on June 7th at the Oval. The tentative date for the World Test Championship final is June 7th. Because remember, the English cycle this time, the international summer begins in June with the Ashes. For the first time in almost half a century, the Ashes in England will begin from June, because the 100 will occupy that slot in August. There'll be no international cricket played at that time. So this is the situation now. Australia are on top and are well and truly in contention for the World Test Championship final. The second spot could very well be between South Africa and India. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates from Sports Today. Press the like, comment, and share button. And don't forget, England versus Pakistan is shaping out to be a thriller in Multan. We all hope that Pakistan can either square the series or England register a historic win after 22 years yet again in Pakistan. Thank you for watching this live. Thank you.